With everything that's been going on, I'm going to discuss today's topic of Asperger's syndrome and violence and how I feel, they interact or counteract, rather, and what it's like having Asperger's related to violence and how it's affected me in my life personally with all the shootings that have been going on. I mean, I'm not saying Asperger's is to blame for violence, because the media is very much a part of, it makes us all violent. Violent video games, violent movies, and I'm a product of that. I grew up in the 1990s and 80s watching movies like Terminator, Die Hard, Rambo, and many, many others. And I was a big fan of these movies, and I collected all the toys, played all the video games. I used to get very excited every time I saw a killing in a movie, but I didn't understand what was going on because I was just a kid. And it used to excite me and arouse me, even sexually sometimes when I was a kid. But, I grew up being bullied. I grew up, being picked on by others, including by my own family. I was molested as a kid too, by my father. So, Asperger's, and I think the part of it that might relate to it is our repetitive patterns of, focusing on something and obsessing on something in particular. If we see something, we tend to obsess on it, and we see it, and we go into the detail and the fixture of it. And we just have OCD also in the process, part of Asperger's. Like, I used to always rewind scenes in movies, like certain death scenes, because they'd make me laugh, and I'd look at the humor behind it. And I think that's pretty much what saved me, from being one of those spree killers that went on sprees. Because, I could distinguish between right and wrong. And I'm sure these other guys could too, but they just started not caring anymore. And that's why they did what they did. And, people try to blame everything on Asperger's, but I wouldn't blame everything. Some of the things, it's a neurological disorder that we have, and it's just it's who we are, it's what we do. I mean, we have our obsessions. Some of us, like Legos, some of us like video games, some of us like flowers, some of us like to paint, some of us like to draw. It's just a part of it. It's just how it is. I used to be obsessed with guns when I was a kid. I used to play with guns when I was 10, 11 years old because my cousin was a hunter and he collected a bunch of guns, and my favorite was a Desert Eagle because I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger using one in Last Action Hero, and I wanted to get one when I was like 10 or 11. And I asked my mom to buy me one, and she said no. So I was too young. She said I have to wait until I'm 21, which I still haven't owned a gun to this day, but I collect a lot of knives. But, I mean, I'm not going to go out there and kill somebody like these other people have just to prove my point. Although, I could see what some of these people did. I mean, I'm not justifying what they did, but I could see if they were bullied enough that they did what they did. Honestly. But, yeah. I mean, what is your story? What is your take on violence and Asperger's? How do you relate it? To me, I just think it's the environment I grew up in. Also affects me too. Unlike other people, like Elliot Rodger, for instance. He had a thing for, he was narcissistic, I think. And that's why he did what he did. But at the same time, I couldn't really take him seriously in his videos when I watched him. And it makes me wonder what drove him, what motivated him. They say, for example, that Chris Harper Mercer didn't have a girlfriend and that's why he did what he did. I didn't have a girlfriend for the longest time, and I still don't. I mean, I had a girlfriend. It was very short. And I don't know, I think the media just tries to sell everything in such a way because the news is full of negativity, and it likes to dramatize everything and make it to where it's like juicy gossip. That's all they do. That's why I never watch the news, because it's just so full of drama, And there's just so much more out there than just the news. And I just wonder about all these people and everything. Adam Lanza did what he did, supposedly. And that's a bad thing that he did. I'm not condoning any of that, but, it's probably going to happen in the future that more of these shootings and sprees will happen no matter how much they change the gun laws. My opinion, I think everybody should carry a firearm. If that's the case, then you won't have to worry about somebody shooting at you. They try to shoot somebody, then somebody else will get to them before they shoot that other person. And this whole thing about gun control is just, I just think it's just more shit for the Congress to have to push around. But that's pretty much my thoughts on what's happened with everything, and my opinion on it. And yeah, pretty much that's what I think. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. Thanks.